Hey there and welcome. Little road trip, even though, as you can see from the background, I am not on the road. Um, this summer, my wife and I took a great trip to San Diego to do several things. And one of the things we did was go to the San Diego Zoo because we hadn't been there since we'd taken the kids to the zoo, which was years ago because my kids are grown now. But when they were younger, went. So I want to do a quick road trip video like I did with my Disneyland trip. Some basic tips that would help make a trip to the San Diego Zoo a little smoother. And tip number one is one you're going to see a lot on my road trip tip videos. Road trip tip, I like that. Because it works for almost anywhere you're going. Almost anywhere. And when it doesn't, I'll say so. But for the most part, most places you're going to try and go that is any kind of a theme park or has any kind of an admittance gate and stuff like that, and even places that don't, the number one tip is get there early. If you can get there around opening, it is a good thing. Sometimes these places, it looks, I know, especially like Disneyland, it looks daunting. It looks like there's this huge line before the gates open, but once those gates open, especially places like Disneyland, they are very efficient at getting people through. Those lines move quickly, and you will discover that a lot of these parks, because they're designed to take a lot of people, that once you get inside, that crowd has dissipated and spread all over the place, and it's actually not that crowded early. Because a lot of people, when they're on their vacation, they don't want to get up early, and I get that. I understand. I'm not a morning person. My wife, total morning person. She's the one who drives us to get up early in the thing, and it works though. And although I'm not a morning person, I will get up to do certain things. So for San Diego Zoo, that tip does work. This last summer, my wife and I, we got there pretty close to opening. There was not that much of a line. And also, big thing, especially for places like the San Diego Zoo and stuff like that, you get there early, parking is a lot easier. There's plenty of spots. They're not way out in the back of the lot and things like that, in the boondocks, as they say. You get a decent parking spot, not too far from the gate. You don't have to worry about that kind of thing. It's a lot easier. So that right there is worth getting there early. And then once you get in, you know, the gate wasn't bad at all. Especially nowadays, you can get your tickets ahead of time and just you don't have to worry about the ticket booth. But even that helps getting there early. And then once you get inside, you're not dealing with a gigantic crowd. And tip number two goes along with that. And tip number two is both my wife and I highly encourage the bus ride. The bus tour lets you see a large portion of the zoo without expending your energy in walking. Now, the San Diego Zoo is a large zoo, and it is a multi-level zoo. It is sitting on hills and things like that. So if you're walking, you're gonna walk down to see this and that and some really neat things, and then you're going to have to come back uphill. So it's going to take some energy, and you're going to want to do that anyway because it's worth it. But if you just want to make sure there are certain things you want to see, some of the highlights and things like that, we highly recommend the bus tour. And again, if you get there early, that first one or two buses, they are not packed and crowded. You should be able to get on with no problem, get a decent seat, a seat that has good views and things like that. You're not going to be fighting a major crowd and waiting a long time. You should get right on there. So if you can catch that first bus, so we did. We got in there early on our trip, right as it opened, walked directly to where the bus thing was, and that was the first thing we did, was get on the bus. Plenty of other room on the bus because it was not crowded, it was not packed. There were empty seats even and stuff like that because, you know, they have a schedule to keep, so they moved along and things like that. And we were able to see a lot of stuff. And also, while we were driving around on that bus, that gave us the there's Max over there hanging out by the fountain. He's a good boy. Hi, Max. So that gave us the opportunity to kind of plan out our trip, you know, in a way, because as we're driving the bus, we're like, oh, we got to come back and see this because I want to spend more time seeing this. Or when we were on the bus, as we drove by the such and such habitat. They weren't out yet, but the bus driver says they'll come out later in the day generally, and this and that. Okay, so that's one we have to revisit because I want to see that animal, and it wasn't out yet on the bus tour type of thing. I highly suggest you try the rainforest trail that they have there. It's really neat. It's a great walk. Again, it's a walk, so you're going to have to go downhill, and it goes down into a valley. That's really nice. Highly suggest that. When we were there, unfortunately, the pandas were there, but they were not on display yet. So we didn't get to see them. Bummer. But I highly suggest that because I have been to a zoo before that has pandas on display, and they are incredible to watch. They're fantastic animals. The other tip is the Skytram is really cool. If you're able to take that and you don't have a problem with heights, again, if you're there a little bit early, my wife and I got to the Skytram a little closer to almost lunchtime. So there was a little bit of a line, but it wasn't horrible. But it wasn't so bad that they were just packing them in the cars. My wife and I were able to get a little Skytram car, just the two of us. And it was nice. It was a good little thing. And it gives you a chance to rest you. If you've been walking a little bit, sitting in the Skytram, you still have neat things to see. It's a really good bird's eye view, literally, of the zoo. And you can see things looking down and stuff like that. And you're sitting, so you're resting your feet and just enjoying. And so that's pretty cool there. So avail yourself of that. And the final tip for the San Diego Zoo is save a lot of your shopping for last. And this could go for lots of other places. And it's just logic. It seems like logic, but I can't tell you how many people we saw walking around the zoo. And I know some parents, and don't get me started, but I know there are some parents who have trouble saying no to their children, or even saying later to their children. Fortunately, we didn't have such trouble with our kids. They learned early that having a fit or pressing the issue wasn't going to get what they wanted. In fact, it might even go the other direction. So they learned pretty quickly when, no, we're not going to get that right now. We might come back and get that, but we're not going to get that right now. And they understood that meant there was a chance they still might get that. There was a chance. And my wife and I were type of parents that like, look, we're not going to get that. No, you don't. We're not taking that home. Our kids didn't throw fits because we taught them when they were tiny that a fit doesn't work. We'll walk out of the store. We'll leave because we've done it. And they understood that. Okay, my experience will be over if I throw a fit for this object. So I'm not going to throw a fit for this object. They learned. Okay, let's get off the parenting thing. Anyway, save your shopping for the end because a lot of the shops are conveniently located close to the entrance exit of the zoo. And a lot of places do that. A lot of theme parks, it's the same way. And so you're not carrying that stuff around. I've seen all kinds of parents. They bought their kid this stuffed animal or that toy because the kid wanted it and they couldn't tell them wait, I guess, or even no. And of course the child is, okay, but you have to carry it, and that's going to last for maybe tops 20 minutes for most kids before my arms are tired. And so you, the parent, are going to end up, because you bought this thing and you're not going to leave it, you end up having to carry it. So wait. And even if you're an adult, I really want that thing. Wait. Tell yourself, wait. And pick up that stuff on your way out. That way you're not carrying it all over the place and risking it getting damaged, lost, and just having to deal with carrying this bulk stuff around when you're trying to have a good time sightseeing and things like that. So, some basic tips there for the San Diego Zoo, and I hope you've enjoyed the pictures and videos that have been running in the background as I've been giving you these tips. And I highly suggest it. It's one of the best zoos in the country, in my opinion. In the United States, it is one of the top zoos. I also we didn't go this last time, but we went years ago with the kids the San Diego. It's run by the San Diego Zoo, the same folks. They have the Wild Animal Park, Safari Park. It is fantastic as well. Highly recommend both of those down in the San Diego area. That's in Southern California. If you ever have a chance, enjoy them. They're really fantastic. The programs they have there are amazing. The wildlife they have there is really something to see, and good stuff. So thanks again for watching. As always, appreciate it very much, and I'll catch you next time.